What if I told you there's a man worth $10 billion, and most people have never even heard his name? Not an athlete, not an entertainer, not a tech founder everyone knows. A man who controls over $100 billion in assets, who's made more money in private equity than almost anyone alive, who paid off $34 million in student debt in a single graduation speech. And yet until 2018, he was completely invisible. This is Robert F. Smith, the richest black man in America, and his story will completely change how you think about building wealth. Because what he did to get here, most people don't even know is possible. Let's dive in. Before the billions, before the empire, before paying off hundreds of students' debt, there was a kid in Denver, Colorado who loved taking things apart. Born in 1962, Robert Frederick Smith grew up in a middle-class black neighborhood. But here's what makes his story different from every other billionaire. His parents weren't wealthy, but they had something more valuable. Both of his parents held PhDs in education. They were Denver school principals who understood one thing that most people miss. Education isn't just about getting a degree. It's about learning how systems work. While other kids played video games, young Robert was interning at Bell Labs in high school. Let that sink in. Most teenagers are worried about prom. Robert Smith was learning from some of the smartest engineers in America. But here's where his story takes an unexpected turn. He didn't go to business school first. He didn't start in finance. He became a chemical engineer. At Cornell University, he earned his degree in chemical engineering in 1985. He won the Procter & Gamble Technical Excellence Award. He registered patents. He worked at Goodyear Tire and Kraft General Foods. For most people, this would be the dream. Good job, stable career, solid paycheck. But Robert Smith saw something no one else saw. While working as an engineer, he started noticing patterns. He saw how software was transforming every business. He saw companies making the same mistakes over and over. He saw an opportunity that would eventually make him $10 billion. But first, he needed to learn the language of money. And what he did next shocked everyone who knew him. In 1994, at age 32, Robert Smith did something that seemed crazy to his engineer friends. He left his stable engineering career, went back to school, got his MBA from Columbia Business School, graduated with honors, and then he walked into Goldman Sachs. But here's what most people don't know. Robert Smith didn't just become another banker. He became the first black M&A banker in Silicon Valley's technology group. The first. Think about that. It's 1994. The internet is exploding. Tech companies are everywhere. And there are no black investment bankers doing tech deals in Silicon Valley. While at Goldman, Smith worked on deals for Apple, Microsoft, Yahoo, and other tech giants. He was valuing software companies, learning their business models, understanding what made them work. And here's where his engineering background became his superpower. He started seeing patterns that finance people missed. Finance people looked at spreadsheets. Robert looked at systems. He understood the technology. He understood the operations. He could see which software companies would succeed and which would fail. After 6 years at Goldman Sachs, he'd learned everything he needed to know. In 2000, he made the decision that would change everything. He left Goldman, and he started Vista Equity Partners. But here's the question everyone asks. How does a guy with no money start a private equity firm? The answer to that question is what separates billionaires from everyone else. Here's what Robert Smith understood that no one else did. Software companies are the best investments on the planet. Not because they're sexy, not because they're innovative, but because of something simple. Software contracts are better than debt. Let me explain why this made him a billionaire. When a company is struggling financially, what do they pay first? Their software subscription, not their loans, not their rent, their software. Because without software, their business stops. Smith realized that enterprise software companies, the boring B2B software that runs businesses, were essentially money printing machines with lower risk than traditional companies. So he created a formula. Buy profitable software companies. Apply operational improvements using data and metrics. Scale them. Generate consistent returns. And here's the insane part. Vista Equity Partners has never lost money on a buyout, ever. In an industry where boom and bust cycles are normal, Vista has generated an average 30% annual return for investors since 2000. Let me put that in perspective. Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway has averaged about 20% over decades. Vista has averaged 30%. Today, Vista Equity Partners manages over $100 billion in assets. They own more than 80 software companies. They employ over 95,000 people worldwide. That makes Vista the fourth largest enterprise software company in the world, behind only Microsoft, Oracle, and SAP. And Robert Smith owns it all. Not a board, not shareholders. Him, his current net worth, $10 billion. That makes him the richest black man in America. Richer than athletes, richer than entertainers, richer than almost anyone you've heard of. But the money isn't even the most incredible part of his story. What happened on May 19th, 2019 changed everything. May 19th, 2019. Morehouse College graduation ceremony in Atlanta. Robert F. Smith is giving the commencement speech. The students are listening politely. Their families are proud. It's a normal graduation. And then, near the end of his speech, he says something that changes 400 lives forever. On behalf of the 8 generations of my family who have been in this country, we're going to put a little fuel in your bus. This is my class, 2019, and my family's making a grant to eliminate their student loans. The crowd erupts. Students are crying, parents are screaming. Nobody can believe what they just heard. $34 million, gone, just like that. Not just the students' loans. He later expanded it to include their parents' debt too. Let me tell you what that means. The average Morehouse graduate had $35,000 to $40,000 in debt. Their parents often had even more. These students were going to spend the next 20 years paying it off. Medical school? Maybe not affordable. Starting a business? Too risky with debt hanging over your head. Buying a home? Not for years. Robert Smith erased all of that in one sentence. 2 years later, the impact is clear. Graduates who were going to delay medical school are now doctors. Students who couldn't afford to take risks are now starting nonprofits. Families who were drowning in debt are now building wealth. One graduate said it was like winning the lottery, except 400 people won the lottery at the same time. Now, most billionaires would have stopped there, but what Robert Smith did next proves he's different from every other billionaire alive. After the Morehouse gift went viral, Robert Smith could have walked away. He'd gotten his praise, he'd changed lives, he was done. But he didn't stop. He created the Student Freedom Initiative, a $100 million program funded by him and his foundation. It provides alternative financing for STEM students at 9 HBCUs, not loans. Income-based financing that doesn't start until you're earning $30,000 or more. The goal? Help thousands of black students pursue STEM careers without crushing debt. He's also investing billions in black communities through his Southern Communities Initiative, creating jobs, funding minority businesses, building generational wealth. Because Robert Smith understands something most billionaires don't. True wealth isn't about what you keep. It's about what you create. His parents donated to charity every month for 50 years, even when they didn't have much. He watched them do it his entire childhood. Now he's donated hundreds of millions. He's signed the Giving Pledge, committing to give away at least half his fortune. He's the first Black American to do so. And here's the part that will blow your mind. He still meets with the Morehouse class of 2019 every month on Zoom. Not because he has to, because he wants them to pay it forward. So what can we actually learn from the man who built $10 billion in silence? Lesson number 1. Combine 2 skills that don't usually go together. Robert Smith wasn't just an engineer, and he wasn't just a finance guy, he was both. That unique combination let him see opportunities others missed. The world is full of engineers. It's full of finance people. But someone who deeply understands both? That's rare. That's valuable. That's billions. Lesson number 2. Boring businesses can create extraordinary wealth. Vista doesn't invest in sexy startups. They invest in boring B2B software, payroll systems, data management, enterprise solutions, the businesses that quietly make billions. Everyone wants to invest in the next Facebook or Tesla, Robert Smith got rich investing in the software that runs your HR department. Lesson number 3. Wealth is what you give, not what you keep. Robert Smith has $10 billion. He could buy anything, do anything. But what does he do? He pays off the student debt. He funds education. He builds communities because he knows what his parents taught him. Everyone has a role to play in creating a better world, from Denver to $10 billion. From chemical engineer to the richest black man in America. From invisible to unforgettable. This is Robert F. Smith, the billionaire most people have never heard of, the man who proved you don't need to be famous to be legendary. If this story inspired you, smash that like button and subscribe for more billionaire stories that will change how you see success. Drop a comment. Had you heard of Robert F. Smith before this video? Remember, the most powerful wealth is often the quietest, and the greatest impact is what you give away. See you in the next one.